Within manufacturing, a critical aspect of day-to-day operations management is the shift change process. Every time an outgoing shift team is replaced by the oncoming team, there is risk introduced, simply because the oncoming team doesn't understand the operational threats and priorities. And that's why it is so important that the shift change process be very well managed. There are two critical components to an effective shift change: the one-to-one shift handover and the team-based shift starter. Let's start by examining the shift handover. The foundation for an effective one-to-one shift handover is the shift log. Whether a paper-based or digital log, it is imperative for the shift teams to get into the habit of documenting important occurrences on a shift for later reference. The shift log is a great tool for the outgoing and oncoming team members to review together during the shift handover. Without it, employees are left to work from memory, and the likelihood that crucial information will not be communicated increases substantially. The shift handover is kind of like passing the baton in track and field, in that it must be both well coordinated and quick. So it's important to focus primarily on known operational threats and priorities, such as, is the equipment running improperly? Do some tasks need to be done in a different order or by a certain time? Does the oncoming team member need to speak with someone from another department? Does the oncoming team member need to pick up a job task that the outgoing team member wasn't able to complete? For team leaders, the shift handover should focus on the health of the entire operation. However, the concept is the same. The outgoing team leader needs to prepare the oncoming team leader to execute his or her responsibilities. In most cases, the one-to-one shift handover will precede the team shift starter. Whereas the purpose for the shift handover is for each team member to get information specific to their work assignment, the purpose for the shift starter is to communicate information that's relevant to the entire team. A well-run shift starter will typically answer three questions. First, what are we walking into? Topics here include reviewing the production and maintenance plan for the oncoming shift, highlighting all operational threats and priorities, and confirming work assignments. Second, how are we improving? This involves communicating the status of any improvement projects and reinforcing procedures or reviewing any procedural changes with the team. And finally, are we winning? This is an important but sometimes overlooked part of a shift starter. It's important to review the team's performance measures regularly with a particular focus on suboptimal performance and the action steps being taken to improve it. Because there can be a lot of information to cover in a short period of time, a well-run shift starter should take about 10 minutes. Shift starters must be efficient. There are a number of tactics to make the shift starter efficient, including using visual management to display information, making it a stand-up meeting, and finally, establishing a 90-second rule. That is, once a discussion goes longer than 90 seconds, it's immediately tabled for discussion with a smaller group after the meeting. There are two additional considerations when designing a shift starter agenda and participation. The agenda should allow sufficient time to cover all topics and should always include dedicated time to reinforce safe work practices. In considering participation, it's important to decide who should attend the shift starter beyond the operators coming on shift, such as laboratory technicians, production coordinators, maintenance representatives, or engineers. So with that in mind, there are two questions to consider when deciding who should attend. First, will the attendee be expected to provide information that the team needs to coordinate and prioritize work during the shift? Second, will the attendee receive important information in the shift starter that cannot be efficiently obtained another way? If the answer to one or both of these questions is yes, then the employee in question should attend the shift starter. If the answer to both of the questions is no, then the employee should not be required to attend. An effective shift change process consisting of both a one-to-one shift handover and team shift starter will help minimize risk and ensure consistent operating performance.